This is not correct. They are not trying to outsmart anybody, but they are trying to find a way within the existing system to contribute and also to benefit themselves through cooperation. This is a cooperative organization.
Dear viewers, welcome to the Press Express talk show, Policy Talks. Policy Talks is talking about diplomatic and foreign policy issues of Bangladesh. As today we have planned to discuss on BRICS versus G20, which is better option for Bangladesh to achieve Vision 2041. Today we have invited Honorable guest, Ambassador Munshi Faiz Ahmad. He is a former chairman of Bangladesh International Institute and Strategic Studies. He is also former ambassador to China. Ambassador Munshi Faiz Ahmad, please, I welcome you here to our studio.
Thank you very much.
We are really happy, honored to have you here. And as I said, today we want to discuss on BRICS versus G20, which is better option for Bangladesh to achieve Vision 2041. Dear viewers, before starting our discussion, I want to give a little note about BRICS and G20 in connection to Bangladesh. As you all know, BRICS is a group of major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. The group is not a formal multilateral organization like United Nations, World Bank, or the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, to gaining more strength, as I said. So 15 heads of state and government, they are meeting in Johannesburg, and the program summit is started. At this time, Bangladesh is also invited country, and our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she is attending it. You know, in addition to this information, we do see over 40 countries, including Iran, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Argentina, Algeria, Bolivia, Indonesia, Egypt, Ethiopia, Cuba, Democratic Republic of Congo, Comoros, Gabon, and Kazakhstan have expressed their deep interest in joining the forum. This is according to the 2023 Summit Chair, South Africa. All these countries view BRICS as an alternative to global bodies viewed as dominated by the traditional Western powers, and hope their membership will unlock benefits including development finance and increased trade and investment. And while talking about G20, with India's presidency amid tough times, the Group of 20 bloc has created much hype this year in Bangladesh, with Dhaka participating in all the meetings of this Forum for Economic Cooperation as the only invited guest country from South Asia. Bangladesh sees its series of engagements with the group under India's presidency this year as a big honor for the country. At the same time, as we all know, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is scheduled to attend the 18th G20 summit in India. Bangladesh's role is being considered crucial in the G20 this year. So having these two segments, BRICS and G20 on table, how significant is BRICS for Bangladesh to draw economic benefits that you consider in terms of achieving Vision 2041?
Well, Vision 2041 is a very big canvas. It will draw benefits from various kinds of places and ways. And BRICS could be one of those sources of benefit that our efforts for Vision 2041 could draw on. And even now, Bangladesh is still not a member of the BRICS, but we are a member of the NDB, New Development Bank, which is a creation of the BRICS. And this has put us into a position of new strength, because we can get investments from the New Development Bank, and also we can benefit from whatever it can bring to itself. I mean, the NDB is going to also bring in profits, and we can share in them if we are a shareholder. And so that is already there. But BRICS, as you just mentioned, is a group of emerging economies. Actually, it started about 10 years ago, and they were already emerging at that time. So they have been in this spot for quite some time, and these countries decided that they were not able to use their growing influence, growing strength for their benefit, as well as in contributing towards various international issues. And because of the traditional structures that we had in place, the UN, the World Bank, and all the various other organizations, they all have all kinds of rules and regulations limiting the ability of many members to contribute. And that is what the BRICS try to do, to unshackle themselves and bring in new ability for themselves. But one should notice that this is not an attempt to break down the original, the existing world order and the system and all, but to add new institution to it, to bring new alternatives for people who were not well served by the existing establishments. So that is what the purpose was. And so it is already a group of 5 very strong economies, of which India, China, and Russia are already very big partners of Bangladesh. And then, of course, if other countries like Indonesia, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, UAE are able to join, countries which have expressed interest in joining the organization and who have been given some understanding that the organization is also thinking in terms of expansion. If that happens, then this organization will become stronger, and all the members will draw greater strength from there, both political and economic.
And Mr. Ambassador, and very interestingly, all these countries, I mean, members of BRICS, they are not from the Western part. So there is, may say, I mean, particularly many Western scholars, they criticize in a way that BRICS is a new economic order designed by China. So means, they want to say this is to outsmart the established economic order by the Western countries. So what's your opinion on it?
This is not correct. They are not trying to outsmart anybody, but they are trying to find a way within the existing system to contribute and also to benefit themselves through cooperation. This is a cooperative organization where they mostly promote economic cooperation and also getting together. You see, one country, however powerful it is not as strong as several powerful countries getting together. So this gives them stronger, this gives them greater strength. That is what they want to bring to the table. When they are together, they have a position on particular issues that people will definitely listen to them, or there is a greater chance of people listening to them. And so that is what they are trying to do, making their voices heard, and but not at the cost of other people's voice, or not challenging anybody else.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, having this line, Bangladesh is moving towards to receive its own economic growth, and that's why our leader, Sheikh Hasina, she has set a vision 2041. In connection to that, rather to give a backup to achieve vision 2041, in recent past, our foreign ministry plus surface a set of policies which calls Indo-Pacific outlook, and it is based on very basic thing of our constitution, where is a mention which was designed by our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. That's the friendship towards all, malice towards none. And this is also supported by the constructive regional and international cooperation for sustainable development, international peace and security, humanitarian action, and fundamental rights and freedoms. So, see, Mr. Ambassador, having all these things, this is our strength for inclusiveness. And on a same spirit, we wanted to get membership to other international forums to gain more strength. Having this scenario, do you think if we get membership to BRICS, then some other Western countries will be unhappy with us? Maybe they will not cooperate us? What's your remarks on it?
No. This is altogether. I mean, there is very little connection between these things, IPO and the BRICS and all that. Of course, generally they are all part of our foreign policy, proactive way that we are pursuing our foreign policy. But these issues are different. BRICS or joining the BRICS is a different issue, which is not opposed against anybody. It is an attempt for Bangladesh to join a group so that we can strengthen ourselves further. Remaining separate, remaining away from the group, we lose many opportunities. But if we join that group, we get new opportunities, and that is what is important. And IPO is nothing that we have constructed ourselves. It is a reaction to the IPS, which was touted by the Quad, the USA, USA, India, Japan, and others who touted this IPS to bring in countries of the region into a grouping within in the Pacific region. But the problem there was that it was from the very beginning, it was seen as something that was aimed at containing China, stopping China, preventing China from growing further or faster. So that was everybody recognized this, and therefore there was a problem. The IPS was not getting a lot of welcome from various countries, and Bangladesh, the touters of the IPS, they were also trying to get Bangladesh to join IPS, the IPS fold. IPS is still very not very concrete. It's in the conceptual phase and still developing. So they wanted Bangladesh to join. Bangladesh does not mind joining various cooperative arrangements on economic, socio-economic development issues. We are actually eager to join all kinds of organizations and forums which will pursue opportunities for economic, socio-economic development for all its members. So that is what we are interested in. So we looked at the IPS concept, and we decided that there are some very good things in it, but there are some gaps in it as well. So we noticed that it didn't look very inclusive. So we wanted to have inclusivity in the concept. And then we wanted to make sure that this helps shared prosperity and development for all, development in all areas, science and technology, education, food security, all kinds of traditional, non-traditional security, but for all, not exclusive. And that is what we clarified when we declared our IPO. Just the day before Honorable Prime Minister was going to Japan, because it was anticipated that when she would be in Japan, the Japanese leaders would be persuade her to join IPS or make some kind of a commitment. So declaring it the previous day was a kind of master stroke by explaining our position to everybody, making it clear to everybody what we understand as or what we desire in this region called Indo-Pacific. It's a huge region, and we want to make sure that everybody is included, nobody is left out, and that we all do things for peace and for cooperation, not create new avenues for conflict. So that is what it was So it is not directly connected with the BRICS issue, but in the end, the purpose is the same. Both BRICS and our interests in IPS have one thing in common. That is the pursuance of shared prosperity, common development, and opportunities for everybody, and inclusivity. These are the things that we are looking for in anything that we do.
Yeah, thank you so much. Indeed, Bangladesh is not in a position to get into any major countries' conflict, any areas where other big nation states are having, fighting on their own national interests. To that extent, Bangladesh want to move with a set of policies which would help its own economy and and to tapping up more resources, particularly even exercising the blue economy. Our basic target, we all know that to see and have economic development. To that extent, how do you project or there is possibilities for Bangladesh to get into the fold of G20?
Well, this time, as you mentioned, that we have been invited. Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh has been invited to the next G20 meeting, and as a honored guest, and Bangladesh will be, as you mentioned, participating in most of the meetings. And so this is some kind of a signal that there are countries, friends, who are interested in seeing Bangladesh in the G20. Of course, if other countries start joining the organization, then it may not remain G20. It will have a new name maybe, because G20 limits, the name limits the membership to 20 countries. And of course, one must remember that G20 has all the 5 members of BRICS in it as well. So China, India, Russia, and the rest are all there. So there is no conflict between the two. But one must understand that the BRICS has a narrower focus. It wants to benefit its members and in that process promote world peace and development. But G20 has a much bigger, how should I put it, bigger agenda.
Yes.
It looks at the whole world. Although the membership is not like the UN, where all countries of the world are members, but it has a limited number of members. Mostly, the top a few countries, the OPEC countries, and as well as the second-tier countries, if we can use that word. Many more countries today aspire to be recognized as second-tier countries, including Bangladesh. We are not lagging very far behind in many respects. Therefore, it is very natural that Bangladesh would be aspiring to be able to join that grouping and contribute as well as benefit from it. And there are many countries, perhaps like India and other friends, who would like to see Bangladesh as a member. And there will be, if that happens, it's not going to be Bangladesh alone. There will be other countries which might also be brought into that fold. But then there are various kinds of mixed views about it. Some people think that widening it too much might make it less effective. Others may think, no, it's okay if you increase the number, the greater the number, this greater the strength. So all kinds of views are there. But I think that it is time to definitely look at a few other countries, at least, who are coming up who have come up quite far in the last few years and are in a position to make greater contribution to various international issues, including climate change, sustainable development, trade and commerce, and also socio-economic development, and as well as many other issues. So Bangladesh definitely is in that category.
Yeah, but some people say that look, since G20, it's a very rich family, and where if Bangladesh get membership could be like bit of non-glamorous member getting into a rich family. So maybe they would be, in many respects, be looked down, or rather, they will not get the proper status, like equal membership status. Is a psychological? Is it a psychological trouble
No, no.
from the
And first thing,
economist part?
if Bangladesh is accepted there, that is the recognition itself. And then why should we feel shy about it? There are always in whatever groupings you have, some countries are uh, uh, richer, some countries are not so rich. I wouldn't use the word poor. And some countries are powerful in other ways, even if not in terms of economy. And other countries are not so powerful in those ways. And Bangladesh has been everywhere. I mean, we say, and our friends also say, that Bangladesh punches above its weight in various international issues and in the international arena. So that is something that we will bring to the forum, that we have created a kind of image for Bangladesh, that we can contribute to various international dialogue, various international discussions. So that is what we have been doing, and we can also contribute in a forum like I-20. And we should not feel any shame, or we should not feel abashed that we are not as rich as some other countries. We are doing much better in terms of many things without having that kind of wealth. We have less wealth, but we have a lot of other things in which we are wealthier than many other wealthy countries.
We do have wealth, mostly are untapped. We have now gained a huge maritime area. This is completely untapped, and I'm sure when we'll have time, then we'll be more rich by exploring our untapped areas. I'm gonna ask you a complicated question, rather. Like if we bring BRICS and G20 on the table, let's say, to make a comparison, that which would be better option for Bangladesh to achieve Vision 2041? Question: is there any space for us to make a comparison? If so, then what would be your analysis on it, please?
You see, you compare items that are similar. You do not compare dissimilar items. They are two, these BRICS and G20 are two very dissimilar quantities. And so there is no comparison, and one is not an alternative for the other. One is mainly for economic cooperation among the members, and also for a bit of political strength, collective political strength in contributing towards the international arena. So that is what BRICS is. But G20 has already been there for quite some time, and it does not create new projects and things like that. It does not give loans to anybody. There is no, as far as I know, investment and other things are not part of it. But membership of G20 also will make us familiar with many other countries who can help us. But that is not the primary objective. Primary objective of G20 is to discuss important current international topics and create a kind of opinion, collective opinion, to take those issues forward. So that is what G20 does a lot. You see, G7 or the OPEC countries, they are the club of the rich countries. G20 makes it a little wider, but basically the functions are about the same. But in G7, they also do a lot of other things. Also, they have they have stronger economic roles. They create all kinds of controls and things. But G20 doesn't do that. G20 is discussing and trying to bring various kinds of views try to bring them together, various kinds of views, and see if they can the whole world can march together with one voice on various issues. So that is the idea, but it doesn't happen. But still, the mulching of various ideas and views helps.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Munshi Faiz Ahmad. Indeed, we are very much benefited out of your explanations because this may remove hypothetical confusion could be arise by many quarters that which is better. But as you have mentioned it very clearly, since this is two different way, two different structure, two different queue, and we need to have backup. We mentioned Bangladesh need to get backup from both of quarter.
I'll just add one point here.
Yes, yes,
before you conclude. See that
yes,
both are very important organizations, and Bangladesh will benefit in various ways in joining both. So we want to be part of both if it is possible, but we are not choosing one over the other.
Indeed, and very big thing, positive thing, both of structure, BRICS and G20. These are not the military structure. These are not the military forum. There is when Bangladesh never once war from its own path. We do have very clear-cut vision mentioned in our constitution, as so that our foreign policies are formulated. We wanted to have peace. So such a peace-loving country, Bangladesh, we wanted to give our people a better economy, better life. And this is really high time in the world. Amidst many conflicts, ongoing stresses, still Bangladesh is having nicer time in terms of moving on peace road.
You see, Bangladesh has a special resolution in the UN every year on a culture of peace. That is something that Bangladesh has brought on the table, and Bangladesh pursues that. Bangladesh wants to make sure that the main aim of the United Nations was to end war and conflict and bring ensure world peace. That is what Bangladesh wants to focus on in its foreign policy fundamental position, that friendship with all and malice to none. That is what we are looking at, and in all our foreign policy approaches, we are trying to promote peace, promote a culture of peace, and try to reduce and finally end conflict and war.
Yeah, you have rightly said that culture of peace is also mentioned. It is one of the fiber of Indo-Pacific outlook.
IPO, exactly.
And to have it also, there is also another, that promoting of interfaith harmony. These two ingredients is largely contributing to develop peace. Underlining areas, Bangladesh is very much for peace. Will be stay on this track and will not be part of any global stresses. So whoever start or whoever creates, Bangladesh will say, sorry, brother, let us have our own, nice time. Let us have our economic development time for our people. Mr. Ambassador Munshi Faiz Ahmad, my gratitude to you, for participating Press Express platform, our talk show program, Policy Talks. And I'm sure our people, our viewers, home and abroad will largely be benefited listening your explanations, that the comparison we tried to examine, that is BRICS versus G20, which would be better option for the economic growth of Bangladesh, rather for Bangladesh to achieve its vision 2041. Dear viewers, thanks for giving us time. Thanks for your patience to listening us. And in future, again, we will bring another dignitaries to listen on other issue. Please stay connected with the Press Express and its, to our platform, and also stay connected to the Policy Talks. Thank you so much and good night.